I suppose if I had a neat and tidy collection, I'd probably think about it less. I have to be honest, though, my comics collection is a mess, and I'm not sure I like it anymore. This is the Pipeline Comics Podcast. Hi, I'm Augie DeBleek Jr., and welcome back to the Pipeline Comics Podcast, looking at European comics from a North American perspective and a whole lot more. Where last week I talked about collecting original comic book art, today I'm talking about the actual collection of comics. And I love my comics. I love having all of these comics that I'm surrounded by here at Pipeline World headquarters. I hate the fact that there are so many of them, though, that I have to keep them in so many different places. I don't have that basement man cave with wall-to-wall bookshelves and stacks of drawer boxes up to the ceiling or anything like that. I have 2 or 3 closets, some space in the garage. Yes, in the garage, I know. And yes, some space at my mother's house, too. And yet, I'd still love to cut the collection by half. It's a little bit unwieldy in its size after 30 years. Sometimes, as a thought exercise, I'll open up a long box and I'll ask myself, which half of those comics could I get rid of? And every time, the dream of having my comics collection dies. I just can't decide. I have valid reasons for saving everything, every last comic. And when those reasons aren't valid, I just tell myself I should keep them for the sake of comics journalism. It's the last refuge of a collecting scoundrel, comics journalism. Because you never know when one of those books might come in handy for a column or research for an article for the website, or maybe even a podcast episode. In truth, that happens very rarely. But it does happen, and maybe enough to make them useful. I mean, you can't just throw out useful stuff, can you? That's wrong. And I suppose on the other side, if I suddenly found myself unemployed and had to downscale my life and didn't have enough room in my new affordable 1-bedroom apartment that I could, with my back to the wall, get rid of a lot of this stuff. But right now, it's impossible. I am a weak man with far too many comics. And the more you get rid of them, the harder it is to get rid of even more. It's not one of those things like when a dam bursts open and all the water comes pouring out. No, you, if only subconsciously, assign a value to all of your comics. The ones with lower values are easy to get rid of. But after that, all that's left are the higher value items by definition. And who'd want to get rid of those? I did do a major purge a few years back. I sold thousands of comics and literally 1,000 trades and hardcovers to a local dealer. Those were the quote-unquote easy-to-get-rid-of books. And they're gone now. All the rest that are left behind, I have some form of attachment to. In many cases, I can tell you what comic shop I bought the issue at. I could tell you if I wrote about it in a column once or any discussions I had online about it. There are stories behind so many of these comics, it gets really hard to throw any single one away, or to sell it on eBay, or to give it away to some charity, etc., etc. Really, what I want most of all is probably to circumvent this whole issue altogether and just have a lot of bookshelves to organize all the graphic novels and collected editions and European reprints that I have much better. But I haven't been able to talk my wife into that just yet. I do have a few boxes of books that I could put up on eBay to get rid of, and I do that from time to time, and very slowly they sell. 3 trades here in a pack, 5 trades over there. I make very little money on those, though, but it's enough to keep the PayPal account funded towards Comixology or Isneo purchases, or maybe on some software or feeding my font addiction that I will use eventually for this website, as I always tell myself. But even if I sold all of those trades tomorrow, it still wouldn't make a dent. There's just too many of those books and too many of those comics. Comics collections. They're great things, and the most annoying things all at the same time.